Hi, this is Dr. Enjoy. Are you tired of all the stress, trauma, mental illness, drugs, toxic relationships, money worries, identity crisis, gender dysphoria, grief, loss, purposelessness? Wouldn't it be great to have something to help guide you through all of this stress? Well, look no further. Purchase your Enjoyno, Nurturing Authentic Living. This isn't your ordinary journal. It's a 7-in-1 therapy companion that covers 5 crucial health areas: mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health, plus 2 core foundations: resilience and empowerment, crafted using my innovative Inspire Joy method. This book packs 300 pages filled with journal prompts, therapeutic worksheets, 100 positive affirmations, self-care tips, and action steps, all designed to help you unlock your path to less stress and more joy. Head to Amazon today to purchase your Enjoyno for just $39.08. You know, white people get money, don't spend it. And maybe they get money, buy a business, but I'ma buy 80 gold chains and go ignorant. That's like fun for him. He gonna buy 80 gold chains and go ignorant. And that's the thing. That's our culture. We're like, we gonna get our money and we gonna spend it. I'm gonna be flashy. I'm gonna get all this. I'm gonna buy a t-shirt for $2,000. I'm gonna buy shoes for $10,000. That's how we grow up. That's our upbringing. So we're literally breaking down years and years of this culture of let's be flashy, let's spend the money, let's not save it. So that's welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and joy while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. Enjoy, and today I bring to you episode 64, Stability in Money Moves. Stability is the S in Inspire. So we are on our 3rd week of the Inspire Joy series. The first week was integrity, where we delved into our integrity, our ability to experience authenticity, living your true self by unpacking that mental baggage and learning how to think positively, squashing those negative thoughts, learning how to regulate emotions, cultivate gratitude, as well as getting past traumas. And then last week was the N in Inspire, Nurture, learning how to balance our physical health by engaging in physical exercise, good sleep, balanced diet, and keeping up with your doctor visits. So now we get into the S in Inspire. Stability, our financial health, our security, our financial security, money. Financial health is my favorite the same way doing all those push-ups in the Peloton boot camp class is my favorite. It's not my favorite if you didn't realize that. It's in fact my weakest. I'm human, of course, and dealing with finances, dealing with the B word, that's what the budget is, the B word in my house, is difficult. I've been trying to process and kind of explore internally why that is so I can get ready for this episode, and just thinking about where we come from, just as a Black community. Why is budgeting so hard? Why is saving money so hard? I mean, where does that come from? I mean, we've got generations of lack of security, lack of wealth. And I mean, I know I didn't grow up in a household that prioritized saving. We prioritized spending, if you think about it. So a lot of us grew up around it. We didn't grow up with like a trust or a family business being passed down to us and teaching us how to spend our money. It just did not happen, at least in my household. And it didn't happen, and it doesn't happen in most Black people household or urban households or those who don't have the luxury of a family business. That's funny I say that. And if my mom is listening, she's probably like, what do you mean? Because we did have a family business. My grandfather owned his own real estate company. So technically I did have a luxury of it, but unfortunately that company just did not end up successful. So it wasn't passed down. But also, I didn't learn how to run a business from my grandfather. So, yeah, it is what it is. But others have that luxury to learn how to run a business and how to save money and what to do with money. As I was preparing for this, oh my goodness, I could not help but think about Kanye West's song, Click. I listen to that song when I'm running. It has such a good pace. What does he say? White people get money, don't spend it. And maybe they get money, buy a business, but I'ma buy 80 gold chains and go ignorant. That's like fun for him. He gonna buy 80 gold chains and go ignorant. And that's the thing. That's our culture. We're like, we gonna get our money and we gonna spend it. I'm gonna be flashy. I'm gonna get all this. I'm gonna buy a t-shirt for $2,000. I'm gonna buy shoes for $10,000. That's how we grow up. That's our upbringing. So we're literally breaking down years and years of this culture of let's be flashy, let's spend the money, let's not save it. So that's just interesting that that's what Kanye says in his song because it's so true. Like they know how to save the money or they know how to invest the money, but we just want to spend it. I've always been the type where I'm just like, I don't want no delayed gratification because that's what saving is all about. Delayed gratification. Save now, get out of debt now, live off of minimum income so that the rest of your money goes in the savings and then you're able to reap from the benefits of saving money later. And I remember encountering someone when I think it was in residency, so it was in Cincinnati, and they were really good at their finances. Really good. No debt, nothing. But guess what? They didn't have a passport and they didn't travel. And I don't even know if this person even left the state. For me, back then, I had multiple countries under my belt, multiple stamps in my passport, but then debt, right? I mean, I'm a doctor. Doctors get in medical school debt. In fact, if it wasn't for loans, I couldn't possibly have gone to med school. See, that's the thing. Black people, our culture, we're kind of set up for that. I didn't have someone that's going to pay me through med school. So I was able to reap the benefits of the student loans, but then it ends up following you. And I'm just like, well, I want to go travel. So I learned from traveling. And also it's the idea of this delayed gratitude is that, or delayed gratification is that, oh, I won't be able to experience the seed of my savings until I'm old and until I'm too old to be able to do all those adventures. I feel like there's a happy medium where you can work on your debt and work on saving, but at the same time still budget in the fun. And let me not neglect to show the stability chapter in this book. Of course, each chapter, each letter in Inspire has its own person. And in this chapter, I talk about budgeting for joy. So, budgeting for joy, working on your finances, doesn't always have to be this boring life where you're doing nothing. All you got to do is budget for it. And when I think about in the past, when I used to be really good at budgeting, I was really happy and organized, and I was less anxious and less stressed. So it's kind of like telling myself, well, come on now. You're going to be less stressed. Just do it. And it's interesting because these other health categories that I feel like is easy to do, like, go ahead, why don't you just run? Go ahead, why don't you just exercise? Oh, just eat healthy. Well, that wasn't easy. I talked about that last week. Eating healthy wasn't easy. It's easier now that I'm used to it. But sometimes I think to myself, well, why can't that person do that? Let me, encourage them. But all I have to do is think about financial health and then I understand because I know the reasons why we need to work on our finances and I can tell you and inspire you, but I know there are things that I'm not doing. Like Kanye said, sometimes we just want to go ignorant, but why? Why? The American Psychological Association says that 70% of people experience stress related to finances, anxiety related to finances, depression related to finances. Think about it. That is why it's a part of one of these crucial health areas, because being able to feel secure, know how you're going to pay that next bill, where that next check is coming from, is really important. And that's why financial health closely ties with aspirational health, which is the P in inspire, the purpose, being able to work at the same time on what is your purpose? What do you see yourself doing where you're having fun and feeling fulfilled, but also getting paid for it? And then at the same time, being able to budget what you have coming in right now. Because a lot of people are working jobs and they're not feeling fulfilled, or they're working and they're not getting enough income. And therefore, that's some stress. But you got to learn how to budget with what you have. You can have 5 cents and not budget and still feel broke. The same way you can have 5 million and not budget and still feel broke. Because the more money you have, the more expenses. So, I mean, we did Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey, and it was pretty good, but it was during maternity leave. So, not much income was coming in then anyway. So I was just like, how can I budget if this is the case? But I think doing that class again, at least for us, would be beneficial, because when you can budget, and he has us use the Every Dollar app, it's really helpful and you feel empowered. There's that empowerment piece, and you feel like you can just conquer the world, because they talk about saving. That's what I talk about in the stability section. Saving, preparing your emergency fund. We had a flood happen earlier this year. I mentioned already on a previous podcast. And like, when you are not prepared for something like that, it can be hella stressful. And it's the anxiety level goes up, because you can never predict when something's going to happen when you need to activate your emergency fund or activate your savings. So that's why it's important to save and plan ahead, like 3 months ahead, 6 months ahead. And the way Financial Peace University does it is that eventually you get to the point where, ooh, yay, I'm saving enough money. They have like different steps. I forget. It was like almost 2 years ago at this point. But you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm saving. I've paid off my debt. Now I can start doing charitable. Now I can give away money. And when you're really budgeting and financially secure and your financial health is intact and you're actually able to give away, that increases your mental health as well, and increases your empowerment and resilience to feel like you can get through everything when you're able to help others. So there's that joy that can come from the financial health when you actually get to the point where you're making enough money to give away. So it is important, and just looking inside yourself and understanding, it's not your fault, where you came from, but continuing to dig into a financial hole that you might be headed in after you know what to do. That's where it's kind of like, let's take responsibility. Let's educate ourselves. Let's educate our kids. I mentioned how our Otis, we put him in a financial camp. It was a 2-day camp in a financial reserve bank. And hey, I didn't grow up knowing about how to deal with taxes and doing all those things. So it's good for him to grow up with that. So it's really key for us to educate ourselves and understand what the best way is, and look inside yourself and see, well, why am I refusing to budget? Even though I know that doing that will, in the long run, make me feel better and less stress. Sometimes we just want to be oblivious, sweep it under the rug like it's not an issue. Like, oh, I don't have to pay that bill. No. Oh, I don't have to answer when that bill collector calls. Oh, no, it's nothing. But you look at your credit report and you keep track of that. Oh, it's there. It is there. So keeping track of everything that's going on, looking at your bank account every single day, not throwing it under the rug because it's there, and knowing what's going in your account and what's coming out of your account. That's what a budget is. I even have that in here. Obviously, it's easier when you have it on an app, but in case you're that type of person where you prefer a worksheet or something to write on, there's even that as far as how to track your expenses and income. So yeah, it's here. I did my research. I'm not an expert, but I do want to let you all know that your financial health is extremely important when it comes to your mental health because lack of sleep, anxiety, depression, and it's a cycle. Financial stress leads to more anxiety and mental illness. And if you are getting mentally ill and you have depression and anxiety because of your financial stress, guess what you're really not doing? Making sure you're budgeting and making sure you're improving your mental health, your physical health. So it's a whole cycle. If you are not focused on your financial health and that leads to stress, your stress is making you not so productive and not so motivated to continue to work on your financial health. So start somewhere. I mean, you can't just be perfect. Nobody's perfect at this. Apparently, although 70% of people have financial stress, actually 80% of people are doing some form of budgeting, I read. So we doing some form of budgeting, whether it's kind of writing it down on a sheet of paper. I used to keep a whole legal pad where I would write every single thing down. So anyway, I am promising myself that I'm gonna get better at that because I mean that's one of the reasons I wrote this book because I can be doing just fine mentally, just fine physically, feeling like I'm living my dream. Social life is going well, and then something happens with the finances. I'm just like, oh, my whole day. Oh my goodness, it's just so much stress. So it's like, well, to the point where you can control it, start to control it. Where in my financial health, where in my money moves do I need to start taking control? Because ultimately, you can take control. Like I said, you can have $1 and feel rich because you are budgeting that dollar very well versus having $5 million and feel broke because you're not budgeting that so well. So it's really important to look inside yourself and think, okay, where do I need to start? When do I start? Which is now. And the way I have the Enjoino set up is pretty much set up kind of like where you're doing each section for a week. Integrity is 4 weeks, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, but nurture is a week, stability is a week, and I'm explaining the importance of financial health, being prepared for emergencies, mindful spending, and using the SMART method as well. You can use the SMART method thinking of specific, attainable, relevant, timely, and measurable, I knew I missed something, goals, SMART, in order to think about your financial future and where you really see yourself. Sometimes thinking about yourself, how you are in the future, can help you with the past. Yes, I thank you for the comment. Right. Spending it goes back to like, yeah, my spending can be out of control as well. Just not like pretending it doesn't exist or pretending the money's there. Or maybe the money's there, but we're supposed to like spend it on something else. And then as soon as that email comes and says, oh, you passed due, I'm like, oh yeah, I was supposed to pay that. That's another thing. Paying everything on auto payment, that's so helpful. I think, see, honestly, hey, parental stress stretches through all these categories because not that I can blame my kids, but that's why when people ask me like, you gonna have a fourth one? You gonna try for a girl? Kids are expensive. But I feel like ever since I had the baby, like I have not been having my bills on auto pay. These kids are expensive, and I have no idea how these kids ended up in private school. I never thought I was gonna have kids in really? I feel like in a year before they went in private school, I literally was just like, "Oh no, I'm definitely not gonna do that." But then they're in private school. So anyway, I go on so many tangents. I appreciate the comments, y'all. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, private school. Yeah, so right. So you want your kids to be smart. We're talking about educating them, talking to them about finances. So, it takes money to be able to do that. But, why is spending out of control? What can you do to gain control of it? And, you know, I'm just processing this in front of y'all. I'm the patient at this point. I know what to do. Why don't I do it? My husband on here, he know. I call him my financial advisor. I don't know why he not over there just like being everybody else's life coach and financial advisor, because he's absolutely amazing. And he's the main one, like, look, we got to take care of this and all that. But it's really important. I think it is it's an anxiety thing for me where I'm just like, no, it's the delay gratification thing. That's what it is. That's why I'm just like, but I want this now. I want that now. I want to go on that trip now. I deserve that trip. But you don't have to go on an expensive trip. It can be like a quick trip. You can budget for it. Just don't neglect anything. I don't want y'all to think I'm over here neglecting stuff. It's not like that. But financial health is my weakest point. So where was I at? So our financial shifts in the Enjoyno. The first day is doing a financial reality check and really thinking about your income, what comes in and what goes out. When we did that, when we were starting the budget, when we were doing the Financial Peace University, and I was looking at the random stuff, you know how you sign up for Netflix and you sign up for just random things like a $10 subscription to Microsoft or a $15 subscription to that Instagram account so you look official, just random things. All of that at one point added up to like almost $1,000. I was like, what? And then I compared it to like an old budget, and that had added up to 100. I was like, I'm doing a lot of these little tiny. Oh, in my Ivy box too. I'm like, I'm doing all these little tiny subscriptions. They just add up. So do that. Look at that. Look at your little tiny subscriptions and add that up and see what that adds up to. And then figure out which ones to cut out. So I'm going to do that too. I promise y'all. I will do it. I'm going to work on my financial health. So I'm going to do that because that's how you can save money. And we're foodies. We love food. We love eating out. I do HelloFresh. So that helps with not having to buy like dinner foods at the market, but we still find ourselves at the market almost every day getting stuff for like lunch or, things in real time. But, just thinking about like, do you really need to eat out? Maybe go to the market once a day. Not once a week. Well, that's what we do. Go to the market once a week, get gas once a week, have a schedule of when you get those things. Because then it gets out of control when you're not planning. It all goes back to the planning. Saving strategy. How much are you saving a month? What's your emergency fund status? Investment exploration. What are your current investments? Investing is good. Again, we don't always learn about how to do investments. We don't always learn about stocks and things like that. So learning about how to do that. But of course, you got to get your savings down pat. You got to get your budgeting down pat. You got to do those things first, get your debt down before investing. Or maybe there is something you can invest in if if you're going to be able to reap that investment sooner than later. But I love how I have here long-term financial visions. And that's what I was saying, thinking about the future and thinking about where you'd like to see yourself. We want to be able to invest in houses. We want to be able to either flip houses. I want to buy a house for my mom. I want to buy a house with his mom. I want to do all these things. So how can you do those things? Definitely working on those things now. And then, of course, budgeting for joy, identifying a spending category that brings you joy. And I think that's okay to do while you're saving. It's just a matter of how much are you investing in that. And of course, I love to get my nails done. He's got to get his hair cut. I got 3 boys. At least 2 of them got to get their hair cut. So there's things that you definitely have to do. So put certain things in the miscellaneous category or the fun category or the have to category, but we got to do it. This is actually fun right now because I was saying that I was dreading this, but talking it through, like I said, this is like my own therapy session. This feels good. I think I feel empowered. I'm empowering myself. I'm inspiring financial joy in myself to be able to do this. Yeah, I don't even think I have much else to say about this. Stability. We all know that finances can increase our stress. So let's together maintain control over it. Say, I can do it. I am rich. And, we need money, but not everything is about money. I'm just thinking about this quote in Africa where it was in Uganda, it was on the wall, and they said, some people are so poor that all they have is money. because being rich is not just about money. It's about love, it's about relationships, it's about all those other things that you find in family and friends and other things outside of money. But we all know we got to learn how to manage our money. So that's definitely important. Thank you for listening. Next week, as we continue the Inspire Joy series, is the P in Inspire Purpose, our aspirational health. We have to be able to maintain that so that we are living our dream. I mean, if you got your finances together and your mental health is together, you going to therapy, you got your enjoyment, your physical health is good, your social health is good, but then you are not feeling fulfilled in your life, then that can bring you down. It all just goes back to like, oh, well, I thought my mental health was good, but actually I'm not. Thank you for enjoying the book. Thank you for buying. Hopefully I get to sign it one day. But yeah, we have to focus on our aspirational health. We can't neglect one health area for the other. We really have to balance it out. And as you finish the Enjoyno, the log at the end, the Inspire Joy daily log, really ask you different questions regarding each section. What did you spend money on today? Was it necessary? Ask yourself that question every day. What did I spend money on today? Actually, I spent it on Starbucks, and I think it was necessary because I was very tired and I knew I was going to have a long day. But no, I don't, probably wasn't necessary. But anyhow, all right, that's that. Definitely pushing to make your book signing. Oh, what? You're going to fly from Arkansas? Oh my gosh. I'm trying. So thank you for mentioning the book signing. For people who are watching, I am having a book signing October 19th at Studio House Atlanta from 2 to 4. I'm just trying to get the whole city out there. Y'all just tell everybody Dr. Enjoy is having this book signing. It's not just a book signing. I'm trying to get wellness booths and just really bring the Enjoyno alive. Let's get, I can talk about the mental health. I'll have somebody talking about your physical health, get someone talking about financial health. Get there and actually learn something, not just for like a signing. So yeah, thank you for your support. I really appreciate that. Oh my gosh, I feel special. Have a great night, everyone, and see you next week.